Be assured that Wisconsin knows how to take care of its veterans compared to what other states are doing, and our hospital and King do great jobs. And I also like to thank Kingdom Riders Band for performing today, a great Christian group that does great work around the state there. From the Kingdom Riders are from Waupun, and I just happen, my wife and I are fortunate enough to be members of that association, but we don't sing in the band. And also welcomes Dave Zine and cyclists. They left Oshkosh to come up and spend a few minutes with you this afternoon and tell you what they're up to. The next person I'd like to introduce is former Senator Dave Zine. I served in the Senate with him for a number of years. He's also the Million Mile Man. He's ridden all over the country. He rode 31,000 miles in 31 days or 30 days a number of years ago, and I thought he was nuts, and I still do. But it's great. David, thank you for being here to King.
Okay, thank you very much, Senator. I don't know if you know, but Senator Luther Olson is one of only 2 Harley motorcyclists. In fact, I don't know of any other motorcyclists in the whole state legislature. Senator Mary Lozick and Senator Olson. I mean, being a biker and a Harley man, just give me, let's hear it. I want a hand for him. Come on, come on. I mean, he's been outstanding as a lawmaker. He's not a very good politician, though. He's a good statesman. He's not a good politician. He's a statesman. But there's just a lot to tell you about. We got a lot of the people that are on the ride, and this is the Freedom Fighter Recon mission, and we actually started out yesterday in Michigan, and we're exploring Highway 45 to be the Harley Lifestyle Highway. And there's some talk about maybe changing that name, possibly down the road, but we're looking at that. And one thing we did on this ride today is wherever it intersected with a highway. Now listen to this. Highway 10 is Vietnam Veterans Highway. Highway 29 is World War I. Highway 51 is Korean Veterans Highway. Highway 32, 32nd Division. Highway 54 is Firefighter EMT. Highway 151 is law enforcement. At all those intersections, we'd like to perhaps put up a sign. It's a $900 sign, interpretive sign, that describes why those highways are so important in regards to either Harley-Davidson or motorcycle or in some fashion. That's what we're doing today, and we're having a good time. Now, to the residents of King, I mean, brother, but for the grace of God, go us. I mean, I saw Larry, I went to Washington, D.C. Larry, raise your hand there. In 1982, and Larry and I and Gary Wetzel, Congressional Medal of Honor recipient, just left here probably a half hour ago, and he just wanted me to say thank you to all the veterans and all to the Freedom Fighter Recon mission. And you should just know, and I don't know if Gary wants me to say it, Gary gave his Harley to his son, and last week while Gary was on his way to meet with Rolling Thunder, and Steve Johnson was out there and probably say a few words, on his way out to Rolling Thunder, Washington, D.C., which is the largest one-day veterans event in the world. It's also the largest motorcycle event in the world. Gary was informed that his son was in a serious crash. Gary is on his way out there, turned around, and was at his son's bedside for 2 days while he was on watch for his very life. He was on critical life support, not expected to live. God works in mysterious, supernatural, multi-dimensional ways. His son is alive and awake, and Gary went to see him today. But he had to be here with us, so God bless Gary. Senator Lassay could not be here. And I told Senator Olson about this. Senator Lassay, 3 weeks ago, and you got to know, Senator Lassay is one of the old school Harley riders. He had a 55 and a 57 Harley. He paid $300 for that 55. He didn't like it because the starter went out of it. He's been a Goldwing, Senator Olson, I think probably by 10, 15 years he's had a Goldwing. Harleys don't leak oil anymore, I got to tell Senator Lassay. But 3 weeks ago, Senator Lassay was told that he had 5 minutes to 5 years to live, that he had a brain aneurysm. Jan, his wife, just lost it, his family, and then another opinion, and nerve number 6 behind the eye. It's not an aneurysm. But Senator Lassay cannot drive a motorcycle or a car, and he could not be here today. So that's Senator Lassay. I just gotta say that we're gonna have a couple other people just say a few words because we gotta leave. We just thank you from the bottom of our hearts that the residents at King Veterans Home is such a wonderful place. Look at the beauty that you have here. For those who have suffered and sacrificed, the sight, sounds, and stench of war can never be forgotten. And that's why we're here. We just want to share what we feel about the wind, and maybe the next couple of speakers will share a little bit of it. Now, to the residents and to the Freedom Fighter Recon mission, everywhere I go, I give these Apache tears that are a stone that you can see through. And there's a lot of the Chinese, since a year ago, February, have been ordering tens of thousands of these, and they only come from one part of the world. That's right around Arizona, Nevada, and Mexico. And they are supposed to be multidimensional, miraculous healing. Mysteries are solved. And the Chinese absolutely believe that they're multidimensional, and they use them as crystal balls. But I'm going to leave a bunch here for the residents, and yeah, wave your hand too. Yeah, way over there. If you get over here, maybe Amber can bring them over too. But I'll leave the card that explains a little bit. Johnny Cash sings a song about these stones, so they're a rather remarkable stone. In summary and in conclusion, just thank you for all you do. And Amber tells me you got a huge event here September 20th that she maybe it's not supposed to get out yet. Oh, it is, okay. But there might be a lot of us here, but invite us back. And we just love serving veterans, and thank you for all you've done. May you have hunger and heart, fire in the belly, and souls absolutely on fire as you love God and the USA from the bottom of your hearts and the essence of your soul and with every fiber of your existence. Next, I give to you, who wants to be next here? Tony Sanfilippo is the first freedom fighter ever into the Freedom Fighter Hall of Fame in Sturgis, South Dakota. He's a founder of Abeta, Wisconsin. He's one of the true legends in this state, and he's a biker, and he's got quite a story to tell. But he just wanted to say hi to you, and he's just what? Give a big hand to Tony Sanfilippo. And there you go.
Thank you, thank you. I was honored to talk to the people at Greybeard that puts on the big bike show in Oshkosh when they asked Dave and I to do the poker run this year. And instead of doing a traditional poker run, which stops at 5 different bars and then gets back to the last place, I said this show this year is coming on right after Armed Forces Day and Memorial Day. I says, why don't we do something in recognition of the veterans? Let's stop at King, and let's stop at the new Military Veterans Museum in Oshkosh. And we had one bar stop for lunch, and that's going to be the only bar stop in this run. It's going to be the rest of it's all devoted and dedicated to the veterans. I was very fortunate that back in 1966, when my number came up, I was married with children, and I didn't have to go to Vietnam. But many of my friends did go to Vietnam, and some of them didn't come back. I've always had a true warm spot in my heart for veterans. My father was a World War II vet, combat veteran, combat medic with the 6th Armored 3rd Army 3rd Medical Battalion. He fought Brest de Bastogne as a non-combatant. He was a medic, but he made most of the major battles in the European theater, and he was also part of the liberation team that freed Buchenwald, liberated Buchenwald. And he didn't talk too much about that, but I could see it in his eyes that he's seen more things than he wanted to talk about. And I was very proud of his service, and I never forgot about it. And in a way, I wanted to go to Vietnam, yeah, but in a way, I thank God that I didn't have to. But we always remember our veterans. Nothing says American freedom like riding a Harley Davidson, and nothing secured those freedoms like our veterans. So I was happy to be able to do this Recon mission this year, dedicating it to the veterans and going to King and then to the Military Museum. Thank you. This is Steve Johnson. He just